If a cop tells you, I smell weed, that's not small talk. That's them setting up the reason to search your car, pull you out, and start turning a basic traffic stop into a drug case in about 30 seconds. And what you say right there can either protect you or hand them the rest of what they need. I'm Nana Knight, and I'm a criminal defense attorney here in California, and I've defended plenty of cases where the exact line, I smell weed, is the moment everything escalates, even when the driver thinks they've done nothing wrong. So in this video, I'm going to tell you exactly what to do when an officer says they smell weed, what to say, what not to say, how to handle consent, and how to stay calm while you protect your rights in a way that doesn't make the stop worse for you. Because if you start explaining, apologizing, or trying to be reasonable, you can end up consenting to a search you didn't consent to, making statements that get twisted later on, and turning a minor stop into an arrest and a case you're stuck fighting for months. Now let's talk about why I smell weed matters in California. You're in your car in California and an officer walks up and says, I smell weed. Now what? Even though recreational marijuana is legal for adults over 21 in California, those four words are still commonly used by police as a reason to investigate further, sometimes a lot further than they should. And how you respond to that moment can make a huge difference for your case, your rights, and your future. So know the law. What's actually legal with weed in California? In California, it is legal for adults over 21 to carry up to 1 ounce of cannabis or up to 8 grams of concentrated cannabis. You can transport it in your car if it's sealed and stored properly, like in the trunk or in a closed container. But you cannot have it open in the cabin. And you cannot use it, of course, while you're driving. Think of it like alcohol. It's legal to own, but with the strict limits on how and where it's used. So why does this matter? Because when an officer says, I smell weed, if they suspect you're using it illegally while driving, over the limit, or underage, they might try to justify a search. But just the smell alone, in most cases, that's not enough anymore. In 2019, California courts ruled that the odor of marijuana by itself is not enough to justify a search of your vehicle. The law recognizes that marijuana is legal now, but some officers still rely on outdated thinking, and knowing this puts you ahead. So stay calm and don't argue. If an officer says they smell weed, your first move is to stay calm. Don't argue. Don't roll your eyes. Don't panic. And the officer is watching your reaction and how you respond. And this is going to affect what happens next and possibly what ends up in their report. If they ask, have you been smoking? Or is there weed in your car? You're not required to answer. You have the right to remain silent, so use it. A smart response is, Officer, I choose not to answer any questions. Say it calmly, say it politely. Don't admit anything, but don't lie either. Just stay quiet. Your silence is not evidence against you. It's protection. Let's talk about your rights. When can cops search your car? Here's what matters under California law. The police cannot search your car just because they say they smell weed. To search your car legally, they must have probable cause that a crime is being committed, not just a possession. Examples include driving under the influence or possession of more than the legal limit, or marijuana being directly accessible to you while you're driving, or being underage caught with marijuana. If none of those apply, you have the right to refuse consent to a search. You can say, I do not consent to a search. Even if the officer searches anyway, your refusal helps protect your case. If the search turns out to be illegal, your lawyer can move to have anything that they found as a result of that search thrown out in court. One of my clients in San Jose did this the right way. He was calm. He said he didn't consent. The officer searched anyway, and because of this clear refusal, we successfully challenged the legality of the stop, and the case was ultimately dismissed. Don't admit or volunteer anything. After I smell weed, the officer may try to get you to talk. How much did you have? Well, did you just smoke? Is this all yours? Questions like that. Do not fall into this trap. Don't explain, don't justify, don't confess. Even saying just a little earlier can lead to a DUI investigation, even if you're not impaired. That's how quick it can spiral. If you're asked these questions, your best response is, I don't want to answer any questions, officer. One of my clients in Santa Clara County made the mistake of answering. She admitted to smoking earlier, but wasn't high at the time she was driving. She was still arrested and held overnight and had to fight her DUI charges. Her blood test came back clean, but the damage was already done. So don't explain, stay quiet. What if they search anyway? Let's say the officer says they smell weed, and even after you refuse consent, they search your car anyway. Don't resist. Don't argue, let it happen, but watch everything closely. Make a mental note of what the officer says, what they do, what they touch, and where they search. As soon as you're safe, write it all down if you can, and record the stop legally without interfering. In California, you're allowed to record police in public as long as you don't obstruct them. If you choose to record, you can say, I'm recording this interaction for everyone's safety. Be transparent about it. And if you're arrested, say only one thing. I want a lawyer. Don't answer questions. Don't try to explain. Your silence and your notes will help your defense later. Now let's talk about after the stop and what to do next. After the stop, avoid talking about it on social media. Don't message your friends with details. Everything you say could be used later against you, even if you delete it. So instead, document everything: the time, the date, the location, officer's name and badge number if you have it, what they said and what they did, whether you gave consent, how you gave consent, what exactly you said, whether anything was found. Back up any video or audio recordings right away. Then speak with a California criminal defense attorney who understands cannabis law. Whether you were searched, cited, or arrested, the right legal advice can make all the difference, including getting your charges reduced or dismissed. So let's do a quick recap of when the police say to you they smell weed. Let's sum up the key steps. Stay calm, don't argue. Know your limits under California marijuana law. Do not answer questions about drug use. Clearly say, I do not consent to a search. Don't admit anything, no matter how minor. And if search, stay quiet and observe. After the stop, document everything and talk to a lawyer as soon as you can. Just because an officer says they smell weed doesn't mean they get to ignore your rights. What you do in those next few moments matters. Now you know what to do when an officer says they smell weed in California. You understand your rights. You know what to say and what not to say. But what about the traffic stop itself? Don't miss my next video. 5 tips whenever cops pull you over. We'll walk you through exactly how to protect yourself during any stop before anything escalates. Click now to watch, and I'll see you over there.